At Daytona, each February, winter's grayness fades when a special racing season bursts into life. It's the start of a new NASCAR season, and for last year's fastest drivers, it's the time for the Bud Shootout.
Mark Martin with his first Daytona victory, winning the Bud Shootout.
99 Shootout winner Mark Martin looks to repeat. Challenging Martin, a familiar face with new crew, new questions, no excuses. For Jeff Gordon, he expects to win. Second in last season's standings, Bobby Labonte wants to start this season off with a victory today. And oh yeah, teammate Tony Stewart, he's no rookie anymore. 15 stock car superstars, 25 laps, over $500,000 in this dash for cash. We're ready to jumpstart Speed Weeks 2000, the first NASCAR Winston race of the new millennium. Ready to go green on a beautiful day filled with promise. The question for the thousands here, who will reach Daytona's promised land, victory lane in this intense sprint race? A lot of great talent like Mark Martin, who won it a year ago, coming from the pole. And how about Tony Stewart in the second row? And a couple of two-time winners here. On the left, you see Schrader and Gordon beside him. And this is the man everybody's talking about. He's just won the consolation race by over 4 seconds. That is Dale Jarrett. He'll come from dead last in this event. And a good day, everyone. Ken Squire here, and welcome to this all-star event featuring the fastest from 1999 pole position qualifying. It's the first fender-to-fender fracas of the season, and the luck of the draw has established the field, plus Dale Jarrett. 15 cars, 25 laps, 62.5 miles for $100,000 to the winner. There you see the Bud Shootout story. The length, 62.5 miles. That's all there is here. That mandatory pit stop will be a big part of this race. It was 7.6 seconds by which Dale Jarrett made that pit stop that turned it all around. And here is the field. 14 1999 Bud Pole winners, the guys that came out on top. Highlights from the race just won by Dale Jarrett. This is lap number 1. The yellow car, yellow and blue. That is Kenny Wallace in the wall. He takes Spencer with him. They both bounce off and collect. Rick Mast in the yellow car, Stanton Barrett in the middle of the track. Those three eliminated. This is the car that just stuck it to him. Dale Jarrett winning, successful in this consolation round. He'll be the man to watch, and with him right now is Ralph Shaheen.
Ken, as you said, that pit stop is what got Dale Jarrett out in front of the qualifying race. But Dale, once you got out front, what was really amazing was how this car kept picking up 2/3 of a second every lap by itself. We haven't seen that here in Daytona in years without drafting help. Can you do that again now in the shootout, and did you make any changes in between?
We made a couple of changes. The car was pretty good, but a little on the tight side, so we made some adjustments there to try to free the car up a little bit. You know, this is going to be a different story, starting back here, and these guys, a lot of good race cars here, so we'll have our work cut out. Yeah, it'd be pretty amazing if we could get to the front. If my pit crew does the same type job that they did the last time, that's going to make up a lot of spots in the pits. So we've got a shot at them, but we'll just have to see how everything goes. Got a fast race car, just have to be smart with it.
Nobody has ever won this race from the 15th starting position. Now let's check in with my colleague on pit road, the man in charge of Speedway Illustrated magazine, Dick Berggren.
Thanks, Ralph. This is one tough race. Just ask Jeff Gordon. He was in contention to win this thing the last 2 years in a row. 2 years ago, transmission trouble, lost it. Last year, slid through his pits, lost it. Can you make any mistake in this shootout and still win?
No, that's what I told my guys before this, before we came out here. I said, hey, you know, we just can't make any mistakes because I've pretty much lost this race the last 2 years in a row for us, and I don't want that to happen again. We've we've had great race cars and a real opportunity to win this race several times, and we'd like to do it again. And hopefully I can just keep everything smooth, get in that lead pack, come in, make a great pit stop, and go out there and try to pull away.
Now, Ricky Rudd will tell you how tough this race is, too. 1984, end over end, side over side. He's been here 11 times. Fifth is his best finish ever. But you got a great car. Can you win this thing today?
Well, Dick, I think we got the equipment sitting there. I just hope we made the right adjustments during the week. And it's a fast race car, no doubt, and definitely the best ride I've ever sat in here at Daytona in quite some time for the shootout. So we'll have to see. I'm sitting right next to a guy that's always run good here. Maybe try to follow him.
Let's go to Ken Squire. 15 stock car superstars are strapping in for the 22nd annual shootout here at Daytona.
CBS Sports coverage of the Bud Shootout at Daytona is sponsored by Fritos, the official snack food of the Daytona 500. Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you.
Got the wrong Burton. Just the audio guy. Apologize. And welcome back to the Bud Shootout, part of Speed Weeks 2000 at Daytona, presented by Fritos. A quick look at the weather today. You could not have it better than what we're experiencing. Temperature in the low 70s and no wind. Big difference from yesterday at pole position qualifying time. Well, let's go topside with the folks that will be making the call on today's race with Ned Jarrett, Buddy Baker, and here's Mike Joy.
Thanks, Ken, and hello, everyone. This is the first wheel-to-wheel action of Winston Cup style for Speed Weeks 2000. Well, Buddy Baker, to you in a moment, but we're going to go trackside to get the command and get all these fans and these 15 cars fired up.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
This race began in 1979 as the Busch Clash. Buddy Baker led all but 2 laps and won it. How hard is this race to win? How easy is it to lose?
Well, Mike, I'll talk about winning first. You leave nothing on the table. In 1979, I had a great race car. Was able to lead most of the race. Darrell Waltrip was the only car that passed me. I dominated that race. A little while later, I led 19 of 20 laps. It used to be 20 laps. Now you have a mandatory pit stop. That comes into play. But on the very last lap, down the back straightaway, the great Neil Bonnet went by me, and it was adios. So you never have it locked up.
Strategy?
wide open, half turned over.
Ned Jarrett, this is a big race. Over $500,000 is at stake, but everyone's eye here is on the big prize, the Daytona 500 next Sunday. What can these drivers and crews of these 15 cars learn that will help them a week from today?
Mike, it's the first time that they've actually been in competition here. You know, yesterday was qualifying. Most of the preparation had been towards trying to get their car to go fast for one lap. But now the conditions will be closer to the Daytona 500, running in actual competition with other brands of cars, see how it works in the draft among other cars. So I think they can learn a lot here today that can apply to the Daytona 500.
Chevy, Ford, or Pontiac, there are 5 of each in this field, and we'll find out when we look at the starting lineup here at Daytona right after this.
Pit sets on the booth.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the honest truth, that one don't bother me. Yeah, I'll get rid of it if you want to. It don't bother me none. Now, how far back you guys want me? Like here? All righty.
We don't need any more.
Very nice, Mike. Good setup. Thank you.
I should have vamped instead of started going to you, but my fault. Sorry.
Well, that was Eric's
Through on
fault.
camera. Maybe
Yeah,
sometime during
that's
the
okay.
race.
Thanks, Eric.
Testing.
I'll fade the heat. Format. Okay. Who took my format? Oh, I'm
done. I look good, didn't it?
Yep. Point back. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2.
You mind me putting that there?
No,
So
thanks.
don't get in your way.
Not at all. Yes. Oh, I thought it was green. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Let's have a look at the starting grid for the 22nd annual Bud Shootout. There's the pole sitter, Mark Martin, making his 13th appearance in the shootout. He won it last year. Sterling Marlin finished second in this race in 1995 and 6. In row 2, last year's Rookie of the Year, Tony Stewart, along with Michigan pole winner Ward Burton. In row 3, 2 pole winners last year. That's Mike Skinner, who finished 4th in this race, and Jeff Gordon, a 2-time winner of the shootout. In row 4, Bobby Labonte had 5 poles last year. And David Green, who scored his first career pole at Miami Homestead. Some folks think this could be the Rudd Shootout. He won a pole at Rockingham last February. He's in this race for the 12th time. Ken Schrader won it in 89 and 90. Row 6, Kevin LePage. Last race of the year in Atlanta, he got his first career pole. And front row Joe Nemechek, the pole sitter here at Daytona last July. Kenny Irwin on the pole at Texas last spring. It's his 2nd start in this race, and it's the 14th appearance for Rusty Wallace, shootout winner 2 years ago. And watch Dale Jarrett to come from the rear as he just dominated the field in the Bud Shootout qualifier about 30 minutes ago. CBS Sports coverage of the 2000 Bud Shootout continues after this message and a word from your local CBS station.
Hey, thanks for having me. Jeff, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really true, your mother liked him more? Till I came along.
That's good.
Okay, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
5, 5, and 5. All three manufacturers. Now
Shift into gear with in-depth NASCAR coverage, including driver profiles, presented by Fritos. Just click on Racing at cbs.sportsline.com. On America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Flying high above Daytona, providing aerial pictures of the Bud Shootout, the Bud 1 airship. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. 2 pace laps and we'll be racing. Dale Jarrett's crew huddled up. They have to change 2 tires under green. That's an integral part of the competition here in the Bud Shootout. And the new Rainbow Warriors for Jeff Gordon.
This is a 2.5-mile racetrack, a tri-oval, 31-degree banking in the turns, 18 degrees at the start-finish line, and the backstretch is relatively flat at 6 degrees.
well, if you like Chevrolet, Pontiac, or Ford, you can see they're equal in this field. 5, 5, and 5. That's the manufacturer's breakdown.
We'll have CBS race cams on board 5 cars in the shootout. Tony Stewart, that Joe Gibbs Racing Pontiac, last year's Rookie of the Year, will start 3rd, looking ahead at Mark Martin and the pace car. Our Lowe's onboard camera rides with Mike Skinner. And his Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet starting 5th, looking dead ahead of Tony Stewart. And right alongside Skinner, Jeff Gordon, defending champion of the Daytona 500, starting 6th in his Rick Hendrick Chevrolet. Our Circuit City camera rides with Bobby Labonte in his Joe Gibbs Racing Pontiac. Looking at Mike Skinner, Labonte starts 7th. And one of the happiest faces in Speed Week is inside that white helmet. That's Ricky Rudd, now driving for Robert Yates. And his Ford Taurus will start 9th. Ken Squire.
6-time winner in 1999 in the Exide Ford number 99. That Jeff Burton is here with us today, besides the fact that this fella Jarrett seems to have brought a Grizzly Bear to a lawn party out here, the way he went through that qualifying race. What did you learn?
Well, I think we learned a lot. This is the first race with the new rules. NASCAR has mandated the shocks. They've mandated the rear springs, which means that everybody has all the same shocks. This was the first event that we had under those conditions. I think we all learned a lot. But the one thing we learned we didn't like was the 88 was too fast for us.
Why is he so much quicker, Yates motor?
Well, that's a good question. You know, to run well at Daytona, as anywhere, you've got to have everything. You've got to have horsepower, you've got to have the body, you've got to have a handling characteristic. It takes it all. It's not just one thing.
And he had an incredible pit stop in 7 6/10 seconds to change those 2 tires. Great pit crew. All right, let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Ken, a little bit of a different theory as far as engine combinations with the Yates teams here for the shootout. Now, the 28 car of Ricky Rudd, they're actually running the same engine that they qualified with yesterday. However, the Dale Jarrett car is not. They're going with a different racing engine. To Dick Berger.
Thanks, Ralph. One of the familiar teams in today's event has an awful lot new going on. Jeff Gordon has a new crew chief, a new team over the wall servicing the car. It's a brand new car, a new paint scheme. Even his spotter is new. There's a lot on the line. This is the first time all this newness has been tried in an actual race. Mike?
That's the thing about coming to Daytona every February. Even everything old is new again. That paint job they'll run here this week, both for the shootout and for the Daytona 500, and then revert to their more familiar colors.
About almost half of the cars that were entered in the Daytona 500 have a change of some sort, whether it's a paint scheme, sponsor, crew chief, driver change, a lot of different things.
Just like Mark Martin's car, more white on it this year. All of them have changed a little bit, and for good reason. They're going into a brand new season, and you like a little different look. Other than DJ, he stayed just exactly like he's been.
I guess we're pretty well satisfied the way things were last year, and decided to leave well enough alone.
Getting set for the start of the Bud Shootout. To review the rules, 25 green flag laps. If there's a caution flag, they do not race back to the start-finish line. They revert to the last completed lap. After lap 9 is completed, at any time between laps 10, 11, and 12, each driver must make a pit stop and change 2 tires under the green flag. If they make the stop and the caution comes out on that lap, it doesn't count, and they'll have to do it again under green. 25 laps, first man home is the winner. Front row, Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin. Only once in the last 12 years of this race has a front row sitter failed to lead the first lap.
We're about to get it on.
And the moment that fans have waited for since November. Speed Weeks at Daytona, and the first green flag of Winston Cup competition is in the air. We're underway in the Bud Shootout.
Well, it's going to take them all the way to the first corner to go 3 wide. Look at that second group there, just behind the leaders there. 3 wide as they head into turn 1.
Similar to the way they did in the qualifying race, and they didn't get back to the start-finish line before they wrecked.
Mike Skinner went up there and almost hit the back of Jeff Gordon as he gave him a little push down through there. Jeff Gordon running very well in 3rd spot.
Now look at Tony Stewart get squeezed right out of the middle.
Right up in the middle of that pack. That's the place you don't want to be.
Tony Stewart is right in the middle as they train around both sides. He finds a home on the bottom. Look, it's Mark Martin, the pole sitter, who is shuffled back to midfield. Who will lead the first lap?
Jeff Gordon, it looks like to me, is going to get it.
Make that the second time in 12 years that a front row starter has not led the first lap. Dale Jarrett's gained 1 position. Kenny Irwin.
Traffic very heavy back there. There they are 3 wide again. It's Warburton up on the outside in the yellow and white car. His car has been yellow and black in the past.
And the new driver, that 33 this year, Joni Machado. Front, Mike Skinner, the only Chevrolet in the top 10 in yesterday's Daytona 500 qualifying run, second.
Look at Ricky Rudd moving up on the outside of Bobby Labonte, trying to take over the 3rd position.
Yeah, that was a power move. He started that move going into turn 3 and just motored by on the outside. He's up there right behind Mike Skinner. Now you see Bobby Labonte fighting back on the inside in that green car.
Rudd leading the outside draft out of turn 1. Started 9th, now running, well, either 3rd or 4th, depending on which inch we're at.
Right now he's 4th, and the 20 car of Tony Stewart now got down on the inside groove, and he's following his teammate Bobby Labonte.
Those 2 Pontiacs hook up. Gordon moves to the outside to block.
Yeah, and that just tells you what teamwork is, because Tony Stewart had dropped all the way to the back of the field almost, got a good draft, got back on the outside there and made up a lot of time, but he's dropping back just a little bit. It looks like right now the first 2 cars are beginning to inch away.
On the inside, Mike Skinner, 31, trying to haul. Pole sitter Mark Martin up toward the front. That outside line is hooked up very tightly. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, Kenny Schrader, I should say, in the 36 car, got to get all these new names and numbers together, was a little concerned about his oil pressure at the start of this race. It has finally come up. He says, now over the radio, I'm not worried about my oil pressure. Now I'm just worried about my blood pressure.
I don't blame him. Stewart looks to the inside on Jeff Gordon. Two former open wheel stars go at it for the lead.
Well, there was a lot of concern and speculation in the garage area how much sandbagging, if any, was going on with the Joe Gibbs racing team. They didn't qualify very well for the Daytona 500, but they raced so well near the end of the year last year, winning 3 out of the last 4 races. Now Tony Stewart is showing that muscle in the Pontiac once again.
But Ned, he's lost his teammate, the green car, Bobby Labonte, back in 5th place, is Stewart's teammate, and so now that team, for the moment, is split up on the racetrack.
Yeah, but he's got a great drafting partner just behind him, Ricky Rudd in 3rd spot. Look back in the field, though. They're side by side going down the back straightaway. See Rusty Wallace there in the 2 car on the inside. Now we have a shuffle up near the front.
Ricky Rudd has come to 2nd place. And on the inside, the 36 of Schrader. Upper left, you see our scoring rundown. That green box indicates a driver who has gained a position in the last lap. The red box next to the position, like Kenny Irwin, indicates a driver who's lost a spot in the last lap.
And Tony Stewart's hooked up with his drafting partner again, Bobby Labonte, as they go through the tri-oval and down towards turn 1. You can see it's quite crowded, 190 miles an hour plus.
Stewart looking to get in line, no room. Maybe behind Mike Skinner, unless that hole closes up, and it does with the 2 of Rusty Wallace.
Well, Rusty Wallace has made a nice move coming up from the back of the pack, getting up there among the front runners.
Yeah, and they say don't go in the middle part of this draft. That has been an unfavorable thing as they gang up on him. Watch him slide back now. He does not have anybody directly behind him. Kevin LePage in the 16 may help him keep up, but right now he's dropping position.
Rusty Wallace had come up to 5th place briefly. He was trying to, like toothpaste, to get squeezed out of that tube of cars either side, and it didn't quite work. He's got shuffled back.
Mike, I get nervous when I see him jostling around like this. They're 3 and 4 wide down the front straightaway heading into turn 1. You just keep waiting on somebody to get over that invisible line there and create a problem.
Yesterday, Fords dominated qualifying for the Daytona 500, but right now, there are only 2 of those Fords in the front 6 positions after 6 laps.
I think the question is all about Dale Jarrett. Jeff Burton, what about it? He's lying dead last. Is he waiting for that mandatory pit stop?
What happens is everybody gets bottled up, and everybody can run at the same speed as everybody else as long as you're all running together. That's what drafting's all about. He just hasn't found a groove that he needs to go in and try to find a fast lane. You can see the 22 car there, the 18 car. You know all those cars are fast. There's just sometimes there's nowhere to go. You just have to sit there and wait for a hole to open.
And they're 3 laps away from that mandatory pit stop. Let's get back with Mike Joy.
Sterling Marlin has now pushed his way toward the front, up to 2nd place. They're behind Jeff Gordon.
And also keep your eye on that 2 car of Rusty Wallace. He's now heading to 3rd place right now down the back straightaway, and he has Kenny Schrader. They're great friends off the racetrack, and they're working very well together right now.
Well, folks, this is 15 cars, a third of what we'll see next Sunday in the Daytona 500. There'll be 43 cars in that race. So you can imagine what kind of a traffic jam it'll be.
Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, I'm with Todd Parrott, the crew chief for Dale Jarrett. He's just waiting for his car to come by. He watches as he goes past. Todd, is there a reason why you're not coming to the front right now, or are you just waiting for the opportunity?
Just waiting for the right opportunity. Just being patient, seeing where we're at. No sense of getting a big hurry, and just see what happens. This is a good race car we got, and still got 2 more races to run before or 1 more big race before the 500. So we don't have a whole lot of cars, so just hoping to be smart.
Mike, they seem pretty confident down here right now.
Well, Jeff Gordon just went all the way downtown, almost off the bottom of the racetrack. Sterling Marlin, though, stayed right on his rear bumper, and they edge Mike Skinner for the lead.
And Mike Skinner looks to have a little more horsepower right now than Jeff Gordon. Nobody else has led this race since the green flag came out, and you see Gordon right now. He does not want to give that lead up.
Marlin to the inside, all the way down to the yellow line. Schrader with him, Gordon down to block. The whole top lane's open for Skinner. In the top lane, Skinner, Rudd, Stewart, that bright orange car, Rusty Wallace, the man in the middle.
Oh, don't go up.
Like he just sort of drove up in that position.
Jeff Burton, it looks up in front as if there's as much defensive driving as there is offensive driving out there.
You use your mirrors at Daytona more than anywhere else. Probably you spend as much time looking in the rearview mirrors as you do the windshield. when a guy makes a move behind you, you've got to block him or the whole train's going to go by you. But the really big part of the race is coming up right now. Getting on and off pit road is really big, and you can see 2 cars stayed out and the rest came in.
Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett stayed out. Here's the rush onto pit road, and they are 3 wide as they come in.
And I think that's the reason those 2 cars stayed out there. They didn't want to get bunched in all of that. Some of those cars lost some very valuable time just trying to get into their pit position.
Oh!
Mark Martin didn't get stopped, has running over
Dick Berggren.
And Gordon, a good pit stop so far. Everything is going well for Gordon. He has gone, almost nailed his front tire changer. He is going to be the first one out of the pit.
Mark Martin did nail his front tire changer, and the man who was knocked down, Mark Martin has limped across back over the wall. Apparently not badly hurt, as you see there behind the pit wall. That may have been either the front tire carrier, Dennis Ritchie, or the front tire changer, Robert Benfield.
Well, here comes Labonte and Jarrett in now as the others get their speed up.
Well, they certainly have a clear pit road to work with, Ned. Ralph Shaheen.
Dale Jarrett's in his pit. Barry Muse has the car up with 1 pump of the jack. They are done and away as they change those right side tires, and Dale Jarrett storms back out.
7.9 second stop as Bobby Labonte's crew finishes work. Well, Jarrett's going to have a little edge, but they may be able to hook up together. Rest of the field comes off turn 4 under green. And they're 3 wide again for the lead. This time, give it to Sterling Marlin with Kenny Irwin in second.
Now let's see if Jarrett and Labonte will be able to hook onto the draft. They're way out in front of these leaders, but the leaders are running about 190 miles an hour now, and they're running less than 100 as they came out of the pits. I think the leaders will blow right by.
Mark Martin's car has been pushed to the garage, taken out of this race. Let's show you what happened again. Look in the middle of the screen as number 6, Mark Martin, comes onto pit road. There's Martin. Keep an eye on that white Valvoline Ford.
There he goes, right up on the windshield. You see he didn't make it around in front of the car. It was knocked up on the windshield, falls down in front of the car there.
Dick Berggren.
Mike Garrett, the jack man on Mark Martin's car, is here sitting on the toolbox. He has injured his right ankle, apparently struck on that pit stop. You okay, Mike?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, he says he's okay. He's got a smile. We'll probably see him back out for the Daytona 500. Mike?
Okay, we see here, Mike, that Dale Jarrett and Bobby Labonte didn't go all the way to the back of that pack. Several of the lead cars passed them as they had that momentum going, but they are right in the thick of the battle.
Mike Skinner has gone to the garage area. There's our Lowe's in-car camera as Stewart takes it home. 2 cars out of this race, Martin and Stewart.
Here comes Ricky Rudd on the bottom to take over second spot down the front straightaway. He's in that lead draft now. He's exactly where he wants to be. His teammate right behind him, Dale Jarrett.
Halfway point of this race.
Kenny Irwin right behind them. That 42 car with that new half green paint job. And here comes Schrader up the outside in that yellow number 36. Side by side, though, are they letting the 3 leaders get away?
Right now, that is not helping them because the front 3 are running nose to tail down the back straightaway. 2 cars side by side like that just make a tremendous hole in the air, and it's like drag on both sides of the car. So they're really losing a lot to these guys that are, you can see it's about 20 car lengths up to the lead bunch right now because they are running nose to tail.
The pack is now split into 3 groups. Marlin, Rudd, and Jarrett at the front. Schrader leading the second pack of 7 cars and then 3 behind. Here's our Fritos onboard telemetry with that white Ford, number 16, Kevin LePage, on the outside of Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte.
They need to stop this right now and maybe get nose to tail and try to catch the group because they're losing valuable time right now. Everybody else is single file in front of them.
I think they listened to you, buddy. They all got out in single file right there and said, that man knows what he's talking about. We better listen. As a result, now Schrader has been able to catch up to that threesome that looked like they were going to pull away.
That's Schrader in the yellow car. The other one's really pulled up. Number 36, he's changed cars. I know everybody last year is familiar seeing him in the 33, but this year he's moved to the M&M car, the number 36 car.
He had a sticker on the back of the car yesterday that said, "Keep back, new driver."
Yeah, it's right on the left rear corner back there. It's a very funny sign because I'll guarantee you the drivers don't pay any attention to it.
Jeff Gordon's not right now. Marlin at the front, Rudd in second, third is Jarrett. Schrader is fourth, Gordon is fifth.
And they are beginning to pull away a little bit from that sixth-place car of Rusty Wallace.
There's Wallace on the left side of your screen, number 2, not getting enough drafting help from Bobby Labonte to push him up toward that front pack. Not yet.
Bobby has picked up a lot on the last lap, Mike, and he's gained on him. I think that when they get to the start-finish line, he will be of help then.
Single file at 16 laps. 9 to go.
Wow, that first 5 bunch right there, there's some very good talent as far as getting around Daytona. Just starting with Sterling Marlin, past winner. You look back in the 28, Ricky Rudd. Everybody considers him one of the best. And, of course, 2-time winner in 3rd place right now, Dale Jarrett.
Don't count Sterling Marlin out. He says this is his favorite track. He's a former winner here.
2-time Daytona 500 winner.
Schrader's not real bad here either. He's always up near the front as long as his car's working. So I wouldn't count any of that bunch out.
Buddy, I know how much you loved to lead, but if you're Ricky Rudd, when do you make your move?
I'd be concerned whether I could make a move or not. I'd try him a little bit, see if I could get up to the door handle at least. If you get there, you ought to be able to pass.
Dick Berggren?
Radio from Jeff Gordon's crew. They just heard from Ken Schrader.
Sterling Marlin on the front.
Race cars out there. There's Chevrolets, Pontiacs, and Ford in that.
2 cars together may be able to track down this lead train of 5, but that front pack is running so fast that's going to be a tall order.
Yes, it is, Mike. As a matter of fact, they're pulling away a little bit now from Rusty Wallace and Bobby Labonte because they have run 5 together up there in single file, and they just continue pulling away.
Here's our wrenchhead.com telemetry on board Joe Nemechek.
Running about 65, 6,600 RPMs at 188, almost 200 miles an hour. Got a burst there down the backstretch, didn't he?
Let me explain to the people at home why they don't see the 8,000, 9,000 RPMs that they're used to seeing. These cars have a restrictor plate, which is, it cuts down on the amount of fuel and air that goes into the motor, and it runs out of power about 7,000 RPM. So when you see 6,800, that's maximum horsepower for a plate motor.
It would be like you trying to run a 100-yard dash breathing through a straw. You just can't get enough air in that engine.
You got it.
For it to do everything it's designed to do. They are limited in that way to keep the speeds down at a reasonable level, although nobody that commutes in a car to work would call 190 miles an hour reasonable.
Here's Rusty Wallace and Bobby Labonte still running in a draft, trying to catch up to that back group, but they're not making much progress. Got a couple of cars coming up behind them there. They're going to have 5 cars in their group there in a moment. Will help.
Tony Stewart and Kevin LePage have tacked on to that draft. There are the leaders. 5 cars to decide it now. A Chevy leading 2 Fords leading a Pontiac and a Chevy.
Well, I got to tell you right now, I'm not going to pick a winner for sure, but if I was in 2nd place right now with my teammate directly behind me, if I was Sterling Marlin, I would be thinking, I got to find a way to run that last lap where they can't gang up on me. Take the inside groove as much as possible and run that mirror.
Well, one thing's for certain, the leader has no friends. Ralph?
Mike McSwain is a crew chief for Ricky Rudd. Mike, is there going to be a lap number that you've already chosen when Ricky and Dale Jarrett will hook up together to go to the front?
Yeah, there's a lap number.
Want to tell me what it is?
Won't be too long.
No, you're not going to tell me what it is?
I'll tell you later.
Right after it happens.
As they cross the stripe, there will be just 4 laps to go. In the second pack, Bobby Labonte moves past Rusty Wallace. Little slingshot there, you see.
And Tony Stewart goes with him. Rusty's out there right by himself. They should go right on by him.
2 Pontiacs team up in that battle for 6th place. And at the front, no change. Rudd and Jarrett just half a car length apart. And they have gained about 2 car lengths on Kenny Schrader and Jeff Gordon.
You wonder if that might be by design, that Schrader might have backed off just a little bit to see if he could get a run going into turn 3, and he picked right back up on him. So he might be playing with him a little bit, just testing it out.
And then it looks like Dale Jarrett has backed up a little bit on Ricky Rudd, perhaps for the same reason. As they come down, it'll be just 3 laps to go. Nearly $600,000 at stake in this 22nd Bud Shootout. 4 times this race has been decided by a last lap pass. Ralph?
Mike, we're hearing on the radio they're talking about with lap 2 that they're looking for these two to go after it. So keep an eye on Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett around lap number 2, teaming up and going to the front.
Now, you would say, why lap 2 to go instead of the last lap? The reason you do that, if you fail, you still have another lap to try something else.
Jarrett has a look on the outside of Rudd. Teammates side by side. Right behind them, Schrader is going to smell money.
Well, hey, is this going to develop a strategy that they planned so well?
Whoa, man, and Jeff Gordon way up high there trying to get by Schrader. This is a whole different ball game now.
And Sterling Marlin's looking in his mirror saying, oh, I love this.
Oh, loving every minute of it.
Yes.
No, the one thing he didn't do, though, I would have moved up and tried to give them both a little bit of draft, and nobody. Look at Jeff Gordon on the bottom making a move now.
Here they all come. And Marlin comes down to the bottom.
Oh, boy.
Pit lane.
2 Chevrolets in front, 2 Fords running side by side. This isn't by design.
The game has changed, and the 2 Fords are still side by side. Marlin and Gordon and Chevy side by side, Rudd and Jarrett in Fords. The Pontiac of Schrader trying to pick a dancing partner.
Well, Rudd's got the lower side. Jarrett hung up there right by himself right now. I don't think he can make a move if he wanted to.
Sterling Marlin, a car length in front of Jeff Gordon. Now they'll have to pair off because now the white flag's in the wind. There's just 1 lap to go.
And Bobby Labonte has caught them. He came from way back in the last 2 laps. He gets up on Dale Jarrett's back bumper.
Our Circuit City onboard camera rides with Bobby Labonte as he closes up on Dale Jarrett. Now there's Schrader, the yellow car to the inside.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, this back straightaway, as they go down the back straightaway, they're heading that way. Here comes Gordon on the inside.
Jeff Gordon in the slipstream of Sterling Marlin, and up the outside comes Dale Jarrett.
Oh, they touched on the back straightaway. Marlin in the middle there, and here comes the 88 car, Dale Jarrett.
And the 28 of Ricky Rudd comes low, trying to sniff a draft off of Gordon. Jarrett to the outside. All that skirmishing left a clear path for Jarrett on the outside.
Oh, trouble.
Rudd in the wall, hard. Schrader in the wall, hard. Jarrett the winner, Gordon second, and Rudd on his roof for the 2nd time in the Bud Shootout, reminiscent of 1984 when his car tumbled in the air. Ricky Rudd, Bobby Labonte wrecked on the final lap. Ken Schrader wrecked.
Wow. That was some action.
In his first ride for Robert Yates, yesterday, Ricky Rudd claimed the outside pole for the Daytona 500. Today, he goes flying upside down. Movement in the car as the safety crews reach Ricky Rudd. That's good news. Remember in '84, he crashed in the Busch Clash much like this. Came back the next week to finish 7th in the Daytona 500, and the very next week won at Richmond. He is one tough customer.
Yeah, and he just waved to the crowd there. I tell you, that was none of his doing there, that wreck. As it started out, he was just in the wrong place. You see him waving to the crowd, that means he's okay. But he has to go to the hospital. That's mandatory when you get upside down or have a wreck at Daytona. And he got a break when he got upside down also. He didn't get in the grass and dig in and start turning end over end.
Bobby Labonte comes jogging back from his wrecked car through the infield grass. Looks like Bobby's going to run all the way to the ambulance. Spoiler check for Dale Jarrett by the NASCAR officials. There's Bobby Labonte. He is okay. But one of Joe Gibbs' cars is pretty well torn up. A wild finish to the first wheel-to-wheel Winston Cup action of Speed Weeks. But Dale Jarrett wins the hooligan race, the Bud Shootout qualifier, and now wins the shootout itself. There's Bobby Labonte's crashed car. We have to lift the hood to hook up the record to it. And there is the fastest Ford in Florida.
Well, I got to tell you something. I thought he had made a huge mistake when he got on the outside there because he had nobody drafting with him. And then all of a sudden, it looked like somebody opened the gate at the corral. Everybody went on up high, and that just moved him right ahead.
Well, when Jeff Gordon got up beside of Sterling Marlin, I mean, that opened up a big hole of air for him to get some momentum going. You wonder if when he made the pass on, or tried to make the pass on Rudd, if maybe that was the planned move, that he's going to go to the outside and he had the momentum going, and I don't know what the situation would have been. It was a little strange that they would have made that move.
Well, let's see, Ned. Let's watch him come off turn 4 for the final time. That's Rudd on the bottom in the black car.
Bobby Labonte in the green car on the outside gets touched right there. You see him get crossed up and across into Rudd, turns him sideways. See Sterling Marlin, he makes evasive action there. He was also involved in that.
And all 3 drivers are now just passengers.
Here it is again. Looks like the 40 car got into the 18 maybe a little bit and shot him towards the wall.
And the 2 drivers who got the worst of it, Ned, Rudd and Schrader, had no place to go. Weren't even part of the start of it.
Yes.
Now, you could see the car of Sterling Marlin moving up the racetrack. A lot of times you'll get an arrow push off that corner up there. I'm sure he didn't mean to touch Bobby Labonte, but when he touched him, that just started the whole series. And of course, Ricky, he was just along for the ride once he got touched.
These Winston Cup cars have several hundred feet of steel tubing in them. Here's what Ricky Rudd saw.
Thank you for the booth.
Tony Stewart. Wow. Through a cloud of smoke and on to the finish. So Dale Jarrett has won the Bud Shootout. We'll be back to Daytona International Speedway after this.
Can I let him out of the car? Okay.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
There were more than 3 cars that didn't finish. There were about 3 of those who got finished. Well, the 28 never did make it back. They didn't start right now, but
okay. Ken, I'm asked to pass along. This ties the deepest in the field a winner has come from. Neil Bonnet in '83 also came from 15. Okay.
One, two, three, 4. I'm having trouble hearing Eric. It's breaking up on us.
That's a lot of noise. It wore the roof right out on the right side.
CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you.
The 22nd annual Bud Shootout at Daytona, won by Dale Jarrett. 4 different drivers led. There were 4 lead changes. Average speed is not a record at 182.334 miles per hour, and the race went green to checker. Coming up next, CBS Sports rolls out NCAA hoops. Syracuse, you'll see against UCLA, or Indiana versus Michigan. Check your local listings. Now let's go to Daytona Victory Lane and Ken Squire.
And in Victory Lane, the man who has come from furthest back, tying the mark of 15th position to start. Here is Dale Jarrett, clambering out with his second victory here in this Bud Shootout. Congratulations. Tell us about that as he shakes hands with Todd Parrott. Tell us about that last lap and the strategy. A lot of folks didn't think that was going to hold up.
I wasn't sure of the strategy. The last lap, the last few laps were pretty exciting, and I just got a run there with about 3 to go, and I wanted to help Ricky get past the 40 car. It didn't seem like we could get much going there, and so I saw Schrader laying back, and I knew he had Gordon helping him. So I tried to lay back with him, and I got myself a run, and I said, this might be my last chance. So I went ahead to the outside. My car was freer this time, which we freed it up, and I thought it would go around the outside pretty good by what I'd seen earlier. And so, but we got side by side, and then Gordon made his move. And the best thing that happened was the 18 car came and gave me a push, and hadn't it been for that, for Bobby Labonte catching us and giving me that push. And then 24 got underneath the 40, and that kind of slowed them down a second. I said, hey, they're going to give me a chance here. And as we went down the backstretch, I got a lot of momentum going into 3, and great race car. And I had a really good angle and was able to get down in front of Gordon.
You've got a lot of momentum going to the Daytona 500. Congratulations, Dale.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just glad those guys are okay, but appreciate it. Hi, Kelly and kids. Can't wait to see you tonight.
And let's get topside with Mike Joy.
Robert Yates ends up with 1 car in Victory Lane and 1 car demolished. Tonight on CBS, the forbidden romance between Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. It's never been told until now. A world premiere miniseries event, Sally Hemings, An American Scandal, tonight on CBS. We'll be back to Daytona International Speedway after this.
That's it.
Thank you, Bob. Let's have a short meeting right after this. Y'all don't mind? Not you. I'm talking with this guy, bunch up here. Good 500. Gordon's car is a lot stouter than I thought it was going to be, too. Really? He's a driver, too. He's a driver, too.
Okay. Welcome back to the Bud Shootout, part of Speed Weeks 2000 at Daytona, presented by Fritos. Coming up later at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, play continues at the Buick Invitational. The CBS Sports Golf Team brings you live final round coverage from Torrey Pines, where Phil Mickelson holds a 2-stroke lead. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Ricky just walked out of the infield care center. Are you okay? And what happened out there, Ricky?
Well, to answer your question, yeah, I'm okay. And what happened, I don't have an answer for that one.
we were sitting really good, sitting second, right where I wanted to be, and we were going to make a move with 3 laps to go, and all of a sudden Sterling got a little jammed up over there coming off of 2. Something happened. I don't know, his car didn't look just right, so I went ahead and made a move a lap early. When I did that, Schrader was right behind Dale Jarrett, and things didn't work out like I expected. Next thing I know, I got shuffled back a little bit. But coming off of 4, I couldn't tell exactly what happened, but somebody started checking up. They got 3 wide. Somebody started checking up, and I was sitting around 4th at that time. And really saw it. I sort of squirted through that hole there, and I was going to end up about 2nd or 3rd, and was just getting ready to, man, I made it through there, and I started relaxing. Next thing I know, I'm sideways in the fence. Somebody got into me from behind. I don't know exactly who it was. I don't know how it happened, but next thing I know, I'm upside down.
Mike?
So Ricky Rudd is okay after his 2nd horrible crash in the Bud Shootout. They're your first 4, LePage, Schrader, Wallace, and Nemechek, and the rest of the field of the Busch Clash. We'll be back next Saturday with the Napa 300 and the Gatorade 125s, and next Sunday, the Daytona 500.